Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Kane. Today I'm sharing two 11 by 8.5 layouts for you. These are school related, and I am going to dig in my stash once again. I have three photos here that are 3 by 4, and then I have three more photos that are 4 by 6s. These were printed with an online like printing place, and I was just testing them out. I did not like the way they turned out, but these ones turned out okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. I have some wood veneer from Shandy's Etsy shop. The school bus one does not get used, spoiler alert. I only use a few of the title pieces from that other package and then a couple of the little icons from the other one. So here I have this We Are Memory Keepers paper that is school related, and they used to have 12 by 12 on one side and then 6 by 6 on the opposite side. So I'm going to use all of these papers up. There's not going to be much of anything left. I'm not sure if I show at the end how much is actually left, but I threw all of the scraps in the recycle bin, and I'm okay with it. This one here actually went back in my stash because I end up not using that one. This one is like a specialty paper. You can't, well, I can't see the glitter on my screen, but you might be able to on yours. All of the apples have glitter around the edges. So the first layout I'm going to get started on, I'm going to piece the writing paper at the top and then the apple paper at the bottom, just because I really love that apple paper, and most of it gets covered up, but it's okay. I still used it on the layout, and the apples that I fussy cut are actually going to go on the other layout. So I have all these little icons that I cut from the very first paper that I showed. I cut almost all of the icons that were on there except for the extra glue bottles that were on there. I did cut all of the crowns, all of the little science bottles, the books, and then all of the stars. I cut a few of the rulers, not all of them, and then I cut one stapler. And that was just because I really didn't think the stapler was really relevant to this layout. But at the same time, it adds a pop of that blue color. So it was okay. I wanted to go ahead and use it. I decided up here at the top, I was going to lay all the icons out and kind of stagger them around and just make it like one big embellishment up at the top. And I just love these little icons. I think they're so cute. That's why I was fuss cutting all of them out. I usually don't fussy cut. And I did trace around each one of them with a black Sharpie. And that was to cover up the edge because the edge was like an orange color from the paper. So without going a little bit too close, I left a little bit of the orange and then I went around the edge with the black marker, and now you really can't see it. That little wood veneer piece that I put up there at the top, I think is so cute and funny. And it says, "Dear Math, grow up and solve your own problems," which I just think is kind of cute because math is not his favorite subject. So the title's actually going to be Math Problem, and he was working on a math sheet in these photos. This was during our homeschool time, obviously, as we're laughing and giggling. He's in his pajamas, and we were just having fun trying to learn math. Um, like I said, it's not his favorite subject, but he does usually work his way through it. So here I have one more little ruler that I'm going to cut out because it's only a half of a ruler. So I want to use that other ruler down at the bottom where the title is going to be. So that's why I went ahead and cut one more and stuck it up there at the top. I popped a few of the items up on Pop Dots, mainly the stars and then all of the little science tubes. And I think here I'm going to pop up, yeah, the tip of the stapler, and then that's pretty much going to be it. So there was only a few that I wanted to pop up. And then it's a little bit too wide. It was 9 inches instead of 8.5. So I had to cut off that little half an inch at the bottom so that it was not the wrong size. And then I'm going to put a piece of black cardstock down at the bottom also. So it's going to kind of add a little frame around the apples. And I just kind of like that. So that's the reason I added it. The little scallop border at the top I cut with a punch, and it just kind of gave all of the icons at the top a place to sit. So that was the reason for doing that. The photos as of right now are 3x4. I am going to trim them down to about 3 3/4 by, I believe they're 3 inches wide still. So they're a little bit longer than they are wide, but not by much. So they almost look like squares, but they're not. They're not really squares if you really look at them. And the only reason I did that was so that the math problem could fit down at the bottom. I could have just covered up the bottom part of the photo, but I thought it was taking away from the apple paper behind it. It kind of looked weird covering it all up with the icons still behind it. So I don't know. It was just a preference for me. And also, I'll add just a little bit of journaling down at the bottom on the left hand side, probably in strips, saying how, math was not his favorite subject, but that, we had fun doing it. We would play games and trying to, learn different ways to do math besides just doing math problems. So here I'm doing the title. I did paint the wood veneer with Shimmer's paints, and I did that in a few different colors. I try to use all the same colors that were in the papers, and I really like the way that it turned out. It's not perfect. If you look closely to it, some of uh, the watercolor did like bleed over into the other parts of the letters, but it's okay. It's handmade, and I like the way that it turned out. So I hope you guys do too. I have one more layout here, but first I'm going to share the close-ups of this one and a final layout so you can get a little final look at it, and then I will continue on to the second layout of this video. And again, I'm just enjoying using up all of my stash from the years past that I keep buying school supplies, and I'm like, I really don't need any more because I only have 4 more years of school left with this one. 5, I guess, if you count this year. Technically, it just started, so I guess we have to count this year. So 5. But I don't know how many photos I'm going to be getting because he does not let me take very many photos anymore. So here I have these 3 photos. 2 of them are basically the tablet, or a whiteboard is what it is. And then the other one is him and his favorite little fingerling, which I don't know if you remember those toys. They went on your finger and they made noise, and he really liked them. He had quite a few of them, but this little teal monkey with the purple hair was his favorite. So here I'm adding more of those icons that I fussy cut, and then I also fussy cut 3 apples in 3 different colors and 3 different sizes out of the paper that was left. And like I said, I tossed the rest of the papers just because there wasn't enough left to actually create another layout. Plus, I used all of the icons that I fussy cut, so I really didn't have any more embellishments. And this is kind of a unique color palette, so I was okay with just tossing it. It's okay. I used what I bought for the most part, so it's okay. This here, I'm going to add this star. And this layout, if you look at the grid, is actually a little bit longer than it should be. About 1/4 of an inch. I believe it's 11.5 inches instead of 11 inches. So I will have to cut that down after the fact, but the only part that gets chopped off a little bit is the apple on the right hand side by the fingerling monkey. I move it over, but I wasn't able to move it over all the way so that I didn't have to cut the apple. So I do have to trim the apple just a little bit, but it's okay. I'm going to come in with some stamps, and these are from Simple Stories. This is actually a Halloween stamp set, but I wanted all the stars, and I'm just going to add them in the background with those inks that I showed there. I have quite a few colors of inks, each of the colors that are in the collection, and I'm going to stamp the hand drawn star. So the solid stars are black, and then the hand drawn star is different colors. So I'm going to do one in each color in each area. So there's going to be quite a few stars, but I just kind of randomly place them down. And like I said, I do each color in each area. And only one or two of the stars actually gets cut off the paper also, but it's okay. It still looks good to me, so I'm okay with it. Down there at the bottom under the little fingerling picture, I did put learning to write, and again, that's all we were doing. He had learned how to write all of his letters, so he would ask how to spell certain words, and I would give him the letters, and he would write them down on his whiteboard. He loved to write on that whiteboard. That was his favorite place to write. And then we're going to be done. And the purple letters come from Shamal, and the white letters come from Doodlebug. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. I definitely enjoyed the final result, and I'm glad I held on to these, what was it, like 3 pieces of paper from one collection, but they were perfect for these photos. So I will see you in the next video tomorrow. I should have up another school layout video and actually digging into Bo Bunny's stash. So I hope you guys will come back and see that. If you like today's layout, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming by. Bye.